You deserve to evolve. You deserve to grow. You deserve to become the best version of yourself possible. The version that you dreamt about, that you dream about. And sometimes the journey starts with letting go. What good has holding on to that person, that thing, that situation, that addiction, that habit? What good has that actually done for you? Think about the answer and answer it honestly. Not the pretty answer, not the logical answer, the real answer. Growth isn't comfortable. Healing isn't comfortable. Becoming your best self isn't always going to be comfortable, but neither is staying stuck. Neither is repeating cycles. Neither is living small when you know you're meant for so much more. Sometimes what we're holding on to is simply just work. Hello, welcome back to Healing Momma Podcast. I am Val, aka Healing Momma, and today's episode is what are you willing to give up in order to become the best version of yourself? So as always, we will kick it off with a quote. Today's quote is, your next level requires a different version of you, one that isn't afraid to shed old layers. This is something that has been on my mind a lot lately, not just as a mother, a wife, a daughter, a friend, but as a human being that is trying to grow and learn and become the best version of herself possible. I started thinking the other day about the way life works, not just for us, but for all living creatures. A caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly without going through the dark, uncomfortable cocoon phase. Snakes shed their skin because the old layer no longer fits. Crabs leave their shells and expose themselves to danger, to harm, in order to move into larger shells that fit them. As they grow into bigger ones, they'll continue to move on from shell to shell. So what makes us any different? What are you willing to lose or to let go of or walk away from in order to evolve, in order to become the best version of yourself? So I want you just to sit there for a moment, think about it. Maybe it's a friendship you've outgrown. Maybe it's a relationship that you've outgrown or has expired, but you've been too afraid to let go. It's the comfort that keeps you there. Maybe it's a habit or an addiction, something that you often find yourself turning to for relief, for safety, for escape. Maybe it's a part of yourself that you haven't wanted to deal with or bring up, an old identity, something that no longer matches the person that you're trying to become. We all know what our thing is, our vice. Most of the time, answers come instantly, even if we pretend not to hear it. I like to tell people, when somebody asks you a question, you know the answer right away, whether it's a yes or no or maybe, whatever it is. Somebody says something, instantly we know what it is. We know the answer to it. But oftentimes we delay that truth because we're afraid of the end result. We're afraid of the outcome. Our body tells us, though. Our spirits tell us, our souls feel it. But oftentimes the fear of the unknown, the fear of losing our safety net, the fear of discomfort is what keeps us feeling stuck. Now, my question to you is this, and this is where the truth gets loud. What good has holding on to that person, that thing, that situation, that addiction, that habit? What good has that actually done for you? Think about the answer and answer it honestly. Not the pretty answer, not the logical answer, the real answer. Has it given you peace? Has it brought you clarity? Has it supported your growth? Or does it only give you momentary gratification, a temporary sense of safety, a temporary sense of relief, a quick hit of comfort, then followed often more times than not by confusion, guilt, more anxiety, more pain? Oftentimes, the things that we are holding on to the most is what slows us down in our healing. Clinging to those very things is what stops us from our growth. So imagine this. What are the possibilities? What doors can open for you if you just let it all go? You might feel scared. You might feel uncomfortable. You might not know what's coming next. And I know that that's scary. But neither does the caterpillar. When it goes into its cocoon, it knows it has to go. It knows that the old version of itself can't come with it anymore. Transformation requires risk. It requires surrendering. It requires stepping into a space where nothing feels comfortable, where nothing feels familiar. And that's truly where growth happens. I can only imagine the discomfort that a caterpillar feels inside of a cocoon, alone, still, and surrounded by darkness. That tells me this. Growth isn't comfortable. Healing isn't comfortable. Becoming your best self isn't always going to be comfortable, but neither is staying stuck. Neither is repeating cycles. Neither is living small when you know you're meant for so much more. Sometimes what we're holding on to is simply just for comfort, and comfort is often our biggest obstacle between who we are and who we're supposed to be, or who we could be. I've had to ask myself many times throughout this journey, and I'll be honest with you, the answers haven't always been easy. Some things hurt to let go of, some things feel scary, some things force me to face sides of me that I had hidden down deep or never wanted to expose, and that I didn't even want to look at. But it wasn't until I realized that certain things and certain versions of myself could be released and that I could become better. That's when I started to feel comfort. I started to feel lighter, clearer minded, more aligned with who I'm becoming. We can't expect a new life when we're holding on to the old one, holding on to old patterns, old habits, old situations based on comfort. So remember today that you have the capability to release and let go of that comfort zone, to grow and expand into who you're supposed to be. Just like a caterpillar turns into a beautiful butterfly, it goes through that process. You can in turn go through that process and become the best version of you. I want to leave you with a few questions. If you're listening at home, write these down, journal them, or say them out loud. What is one thing in your life right now that no longer aligns with you and who you want to become? What fear is keeping you from letting go? What does the best version of you look like? And what does he or she need in order to release and emerge into that beautiful butterfly? You're not meant to stay in places that shrink you. You're not meant to go into places or stay in places that block you from your growth. And if you find yourself unable to go through these questions or the answers, but you really don't know how to face them, and you find yourself alone and you really don't want to dive into it, I'm here. I'm here to hold a space for you in my heart, and we can walk through them together. I'm here to help guide you and hold your hand through this journey. The journey of life isn't meant to be faced alone. I feel like our higher power, my higher power, I should say, will always put somebody in our path to help guide us and lead us and hold our hand through the way. You deserve to evolve. You deserve to grow. You deserve to become the best version of yourself possible, the version that you dreamt about, that you dream about. And sometimes the journey starts with letting go, but always remember to be gentle with yourself, but still apply pressure. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen, to watch, to stream, however you're looking at today's episode. And if you're new to our podcast, welcome. Know that you're safe here. This is a space for love, for healing, for growth, for journeys that you never imagined you would go on. If this message touched your soul in any way, I ask that you please share it. Share it with somebody. Share this message so that they know that they're not alone in this journey and that they too can grow and find peace. Please be sure to follow on all socials. I am on Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Riverside platform at Healing Momma Podcast. And I am on TikTok as Healing Momma Pod. Just as a reminder, I do work as an inner child healing coach as well on the side. So if you're interested in learning more, feel free to reach out to me and email me at healingmommapodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, guys, I send you so much love, peace, joy, positivity, light, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. Until next time, bye, guys.